Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kire here with another Awaken Chaos Era video. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down my thoughts here on the Winter Festival event so far. So this came out on the 22nd. So we're about 7 days in, about a week in here. And I just kind of want to give you guys my thoughts here about how good the rewards are, what I think about the content, if it's actually fun, stuff like that. So this is our first event here. And I think it's cool that they're willing to do a Winter Festival event, even though this is just soft launch. It's not even the full launch yet. Yes, the timing, it would make sense to do a Christmas themed event here. They actually had it planned. I wonder, you know, if they were wanting the main launch, you would think something like this would happen with the main launch. It's just weird the timing that they've been doing this with their ton of betas, and they have this massive long pre-launch to the game. It's just kind of bizarre, but they still did it. And it was actually pretty good content so far. So we still have another week left of this event. It's a 2-week event. It has this content here where we have to face this boss that I think is actually fun. Very similar to the guild boss in the game, but there's one mechanic of it, or a few mechanics of it, that I really like. But I really like the two team mechanic. But the big thing that I really like about this over the guild boss that I think allows for a lot more diversity and strategy is that there's health bars on this boss that his damage only ramps up as his health, as you do more damage. So you can actually plan for things. You can start scaling without doing too much damage, and then get to the point where you think you're going to survive longer, then really put out as much damage as possible. If you can survive the earlier part, scale up with certain characters, and then go for the big push later. Like for example, with Hakron, you can get a lot of health. He's good in a ton of content. Not saying he's only good for this, but he scales health over time with his ult. For example, Jacob is a great character that can scale. Not only does his passive on himself give him a ton of attack, but then he's slowly scaling and reducing flat defense on the boss. So he scales in 2 ways there, and you can slowly ramp that up. And I like that about this boss versus the guild one, where the damage is just going. So you gotta have characters that are effective immediately all the way through, or you're just gonna get rolled and you're not gonna have time, which I think is kind of a bummer. I think it really limits the amount of playtesting, especially with how aggressive the elemental damage bonuses are in this game. That just kind of exacerbates that issue where you not only do you have select characters based on the element, but then you only have select characters that need to be good immediately for that encounter. Whereas with this one, elemental advantage is not nearly as strict, because it's almost non-existent, because he's a dark boss and he scales to the damage you do, not he does damage forced upon you. So I don't want to say that's the only way to fix that issue in the clan boss, but I just feel like that is potentially one of the things that makes it a little more punishing, or it makes it very narrow on the characters that are actually good in that environment that I prefer over here. Then just for an extra event that's going on, just extra content, I do think that, you know, I don't need to push these high numbers. Being triple S and damage to get the max amount of rewards doesn't take nearly, like, you get it way sooner. I believe you get it like 250 to 300,000 damage is when triple S happens, and then it's going to be where you cap out on rewards. So you don't need to do that. I do feel to start hitting the higher rank doesn't really match with the amount of effort it takes. So these longer runs that people are doing to push the top, I think it's really cool that they have a top as just a flex. But also, you know what? Actually, I kind of changed my opinion on that. I like that it maxes out earlier on rewards, and then these people that are pushing these top ranks, it doesn't make this massive chasm between people who are willing to whale on the game versus the free-to-play and light spenders. You get all the rewards at a reasonable amount, and then the people that want to flex and push the top here and try to get the highest possible level, you know, they pretty much all they get is bragging rights. They don't really get a much extra, which I think hopefully they dial that in a little bit more. It's definitely rewarded more so in Guild Boss than it does here, which I think is warranted on a side event like this. And then when it comes to, let's actually go back here to the market. I think this is all good stuff. You know, like they have this. I think these are a total scam. I think they're always going to be overpriced, and I wouldn't pull these, in my opinion, until they add a pity system. I would just save them. I would just save all these, and once they add a pity system to them, then pull them, because right now they're a complete ripoff. Like, I understand wanting the dopamine, wanting to just pull it. I pulled all mine, but I think they're horrible. They need to improve the rates, or they need to add a pity system to them. just like rate, in my opinion, for their sacred charts, because this is just absurd. In my opinion, I've literally never pulled a legendary out of one. Like I don't know if anyone has, let me know. I'm sure people have, but like me and Darth Micro, I'm gonna keep saying it when I talk about these guys. We have literally never pulled a legendary of these, and we pulled quite a bit. I think it's just horrible. And then the other stuff here, you get 5 sacred shards, or advanced summoning crystals, and then 5-star pumpkin and foodies, all really good things here. If you need the fire obsidians or wood obsidian, like these obsidians, fantastic. I think these are all good things. One thing that it was a little controversial is that you're not supposed to be able to get speed from your helmet or this right here, but some people are getting speed on this and then they just didn't fix it. But at the same time, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Even if someone quad rolls speed on one of these guys, it's not going to break the game. If anything, it's just gonna be a bad piece because you're just gonna get outsped by people with Raider set anyway. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. But kind of a weird little bug that they had in there. But I think this is all reasonable in the things that I would want out of an event like this. Then just since it's in the same vein, I feel like it's kind of a bummer. I think the most controversial part of this patch here is the nerf to the rewards in the Magic Pass. Definitely a bummer there. I think Tia is a great character I feel like Tia, not necessarily a great character. I think she's a good character that is very useful in niche content at the moment, like going to be good in Void Tower, going to be good in probably Endless Tower, or the Endless Trial mode. For example, Endless Trial is probably pretty good there, but she's like the power level that you would expect for a Magic Pass, in my opinion. So glad they, I think she's a solid character. Me personally, I'm not really that excited about getting her out of this, but I'll take it. And then they nerfed the Ascensions, because I think the thing that people are most excited about was the Legendary Ascension and the Epic Ascension, and then they ended up taking out both. I feel like keep the Epic Ascension. They don't give you enough Epic Ascensions in this game, and I think for most people, those are way more useful than the Legendary Ascensions. Like, obviously, you'd want both, but Epics in this game are absolutely incredible. So getting more Ascensions, like, imagine you have a Nathalia +1, you get +2, literally changes your account. So I think a lot of people would prefer the Epic Ascension if they're going to take something, like, at least give us that in the next one. The Epic Ascension would be big, obviously the Legendary is great. I'm glad they kept it Legendary. I just wish that they would at least keep one of the Ascensions, and probably if they're going to keep one, it would be the Epic Ascension. But taking away both, like going from 2 to none, is feels bad. And I believe they've nerfed it in other ways too. I wish I had the old battle pass so we can literally see the differences, but it's a pretty big nerf to the Magic Pass here in this game. So other than that, I would say this event, I do like it. I feel like I am a little deterred when it comes to this, because it's like I can play this, I can auto it, but it takes so long. Like I wish you can like maybe sim it or something like that, or I do like the depth of being able to do this, but I feel like this big content like they maybe make it a little bit more in depth and actually make it real content in the game, or take some of the concepts from here and apply it to Guild Boss or something like that. But I know this is the very beginning of the game and there's actually a lot of stuff to do, so I'm not trying to complain here. I just think that there's a lot of potential in what they could be doing here, and usually when it comes to events like this, the quality of the event is not nearly as high, or like the quality of the actual the boss is not nearly as high as this. So I think that's pretty cool and encouraging for the future of the game that they have that. But that's pretty much my thoughts here on this. I think it's overall a really positive event here, especially that they're willing to put all this effort in for an event in the soft launch of this game that most people are not gonna really ever experience. So I think that's pretty cool. So all right guys, well, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the Winter Festival event here in Awaken Chaos Era. And with that guys, I am out. Peace.